Have you ever felt that quiet, nagging sense that you're falling behind? It's a feeling that can sneak up on you in the most ordinary moments, when you're alone with your thoughts or even when you're surrounded by the noise of everyday life. It's that subtle ache, a whisper in the back of your mind asking if you're doing enough, if you're where you're supposed to be. It creeps in when you see others' achievements, new jobs, new homes, new relationships, and suddenly your own life feels incomplete. Social media amplifies this, showing us only the highlight reels of other people's lives, making it easy to believe that everyone else is moving forward while we're standing still. We compare our behind the scenes to everyone else's best moments, and it's no wonder we feel left out. It's like everyone else is on a fast-moving train, and you're left standing on the platform. The world seems to be rushing by, and you can't help but wonder if you missed your chance to get on board. The pressure to keep up can feel overwhelming, as if you're always one step behind no matter how hard you try. This isn't just in your head, it's a shared experience in our modern world. So many of us carry this invisible weight, quietly wondering if we're measuring up. We rarely talk about it, but if you look closely, you'll see it in the faces of strangers, friends, and even family members. We're all trying to find our place in a world that never seems to slow down. We're told we're not doing enough, not achieving enough, not being enough. The messages come from everywhere: advertisements, self-help books, even well-meaning advice from people who care about us. There's always another milestone to reach, another goal to chase, another way to improve ourselves. It's exhausting, and it can make us feel like we're constantly falling short. The race never ends, the goalposts keep moving, and satisfaction is always fleeting. No matter how much we accomplish, there's always something more we could be doing. We run faster, work harder, and push ourselves to the limit, hoping that one day we'll finally feel caught up. But that day never seems to come. We focus so much on what's next, we forget to appreciate where we are now. Our minds are always racing ahead, planning, worrying, striving. We rarely pause to notice the small victories, the quiet moments of joy, or the progress we've already made. In our rush to get ahead, we lose sight of the present. Technology and social media amplify this, making us feel like we must always be busy to matter. Notifications, updates, and endless streams of information keep us on edge, convincing us that productivity is the only measure of our worth. We're constantly connected but often feel more isolated than ever. Our exhaustion becomes a badge of honor, masking deeper anxiety. We wear our busyness like armor, hoping it will protect us from judgment or self-doubt. But beneath the surface, many of us are struggling, tired, anxious, and unsure of how to break free from the cycle. We fear that slowing down means being left behind. The idea of taking a break, of stepping off the treadmill feels risky, like we'll lose our place or miss out on something important. But sometimes what we really need is to pause, breathe, and remember that life isn't a competition. But this feeling isn't your fault. It's a product of a culture obsessed with speed and external validation. We've been conditioned to believe that our value comes from what we achieve, rather than who we are. It's no wonder we feel lost in the rush. We're taught to compare, to measure our worth by accomplishments, to follow a script that may not fit us. But the truth is, everyone's journey is different. There's no single timeline for success, no universal checklist for happiness. The pressure to conform can be overwhelming, but it's not the only way to live. The first step to freedom is recognizing this pressure for what it is, a symptom of a world that's forgotten the value of unique journeys. When we let go of unrealistic expectations, we make space for self-compassion and growth. We can start to define success on our own terms and find meaning in the moments that matter to us. You are not failing, you're simply living in a world that moves too fast. Remember, it's okay to slow down, to breathe, and to honor your own pace. Your journey is yours alone, and that's something worth celebrating. At the heart of feeling behind is comparison. It's a quiet voice that whispers, "Look at them, they're ahead." This feeling can sneak up on us in the most ordinary moments, making us question our own progress and worth. For centuries, comparing ourselves to others helped us survive. But now, it traps us in insecurity. In the past, knowing where we stood in a group meant safety, belonging, and even survival. But today, the world is bigger, and the comparisons are endless. Social comparison theory explains how we measure our worth against others' successes. We look for clues in the people around us to figure out if we're doing enough, but this habit, once useful, can now leave us feeling lost and inadequate. But we rarely compare fairly. We see others' highlights and our own struggles. Social media amplifies this, showing us only the best moments of other people's lives, while our own challenges and setbacks feel magnified in private. It's like running a marathon while staring at the runners beside you. You lose your own rhythm and burn out. When you're constantly looking sideways, you miss the beauty of your own journey and the milestones you've already passed. The real race is against yourself. Focus on your own pace, your own goals. Every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Your path is unique, shaped by your experiences, dreams, and values. Breaking free means shifting your mindset. Stop asking, "Am I doing as well as them?" And start asking, "Am I doing better than I was yesterday?" This simple change can transform your outlook, helping you appreciate your growth instead of chasing someone else's timeline. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Every achievement, every lesson learned, is a step forward. Give yourself credit for the effort you put in, even when no one else sees it. Move the source of validation from outside to within. Learn to trust your own judgment and honor your own journey. When you find satisfaction in your own growth, the need for comparison fades. Everyone is running their own race. Each person's path is shaped by different challenges, opportunities, and dreams. There's no single finish line and no universal timeline for success. The only performance that matters is your own. Honor your unique journey. Let your progress be measured by your own standards, not by the expectations or achievements of others. Find joy in your own growth, not in measuring up to others. When you look forward instead of sideways, you'll discover a deeper sense of fulfillment and peace. Social media is a highlight reel, not real life. We see curated moments, vacations, promotions, perfect families, but not the struggles behind the scenes. This creates an illusion that everyone else is happier and more successful. Algorithms feed us more of what triggers envy, trapping us in a cycle of comparison. Remember, you're only seeing one chapter of someone else's story. Curate your feed, take breaks, and remind yourself that true contentment comes from building a life that feels good on the inside. Don't measure your worth by filtered images. Measure it by your own sense of fulfillment. Society imposes unspoken timelines: graduate, career, marriage, house, kids, by certain ages. When our lives don't follow this script, we feel like we've failed. These expectations come from family, friends, and media, becoming the blueprint for our self-worth. But life isn't linear, it's a winding journey. There's no right or wrong timeline, only your timeline. Forcing yourself to fit someone else's schedule leads to anxiety and unhappiness. Letting go of these timelines is liberating. Your life is your story to write. Focus on being present and engaged in your own journey. Sometimes the harshest critic is inside our own minds. Our inner critic internalizes external pressures telling us we're not enough. It thrives on perfectionism, setting impossible standards and berating us when we fall short. This mindset is exhausting and paralyzing. The antidote is self-compassion. Speak to yourself as you would to a friend. Challenge harsh judgments and remind yourself of your progress and worth. Practice affirmations. I am doing my best, and my best is enough. Cultivate a kinder inner dialogue to free yourself from internal pressure. The pressure to keep up leads to burnout, emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion. Hustle culture glorifies busyness and sacrifices well-being for success. We feel guilty for resting, believing our worth is tied to productivity. This toxic cycle keeps us chasing an ever-moving finish line. Preventing burnout requires a radical shift. Rest is a necessity, not a luxury. Set boundaries, say no, and schedule time to recharge. Disconnect from work without guilt. Your value isn't measured by output but by the richness and sustainability of your life. To escape feeling behind, redefine success for yourself. True success isn't about wealth or titles, it's about who you are, your growth, and your sense of purpose. Progress isn't always linear. Sometimes it's quiet, internal, and invisible. Rely on internal validation. Be your own source of encouragement. Moving at your own pace is self-love. Some days you'll sprint, others you'll rest. Both are valid. Your journey isn't a race. Give yourself permission to move at your own speed. Replace anxiety with peace and trust. Enjoy the journey, not just the destination. Let me tell you about Maya, a woman who seemed to have it all. She lived the hustle life, always on the move, always achieving, always striving for the next big thing. On the outside, she was the picture of success, a high-powered job, a beautiful apartment in the city, and a calendar packed with meetings and social events. But inside, Maya was crumbling. The constant pressure, the endless to-do lists, and the feeling that she was never quite enough began to weigh her down. One day, everything came to a halt. A sudden panic attack forced her to stop in her tracks. As she sat on her bed, struggling to catch her breath, Maya finally asked herself, "What do I actually want? What am I really chasing?" For the first time in years, she allowed herself to listen to the quiet voice within. The answer surprised her. It wasn't more money, more recognition, or a bigger title. What she truly longed for was peace, a sense of calm, time to breathe, and space to simply be herself. She realized she wanted mornings that started slowly, afternoons filled with sunlight, and evenings spent in quiet reflection. So Maya made a bold decision. She quit her high-powered job, packed her bags, and left the city behind. She moved to a small coastal town, trading the noise and rush for the sound of waves and the rhythm of nature. It wasn't an easy choice, but it was the one her heart needed. Her friends and family were shocked. They worried she was throwing away her future, and her inner critic echoed their doubts. "Are you sure you're not making a mistake?" they asked. The fear of disappointing others and the uncertainty of starting over made her question herself. But Maya chose to trust her intuition. She spent time in silence, journaling her thoughts and reconnecting with her dreams. She learned to listen to her own needs, rather than the expectations of the world around her. She found a part-time job at a local bookstore, where she could spend her days surrounded by stories and gentle conversations. She discovered joy in simple routines, making coffee in the morning, taking long walks by the sea, and writing in her journal. Slowly, she began to feel whole again. Maya was no longer successful by society's standards. She didn't have the fancy title or the big paycheck, but she felt more fulfilled than ever before. She had traded applause for authenticity, and in doing so, found a happiness that was real and lasting. Maya's story reminds us that sometimes the bravest thing we can do is to slow down, to step away from the noise, and to choose peace over applause. It takes courage to pause, to listen to your heart, and to build a life that feels good on the inside, even if it doesn't look impressive on the outside. You don't have to chase a life that only looks good to others. You have the power to create a life that feels good to you, a life where you wake up excited, where you feel at home in your own skin, and where your days are filled with meaning. In the pause, you can rediscover what truly matters. You can reconnect with your values, your passions, and the people who make your heart feel full. The pause isn't empty, it's where you find yourself again. Slowing down isn't failure, it's wisdom. It's the choice to honor your well-being, to nurture your spirit, and to live with intention. Remember, your happiness is worth more than anyone else's approval. Give yourself permission to pause, to breathe, and to choose the life that brings you peace. If you remember one thing, let it be this: you are not behind. Your path is unique, unfolding in its own perfect time. The feeling of being behind is an illusion created by comparison and pressure. Your life is a one-of-a-kind masterpiece, not a race. Like flowers in a garden, we all bloom in our own season. Trust your timing, nurture yourself with patience and self-compassion. Let go of the need to have it all figured out. Focus on the present. Take one small step that feels true to you. Release the burden of expectation and comparison. Your journey is valid and worthy. Whenever anxiety creeps in, remember you're exactly where you need to be to take your next step. Trust your path, your pace, and yourself.